Hello there, and welcome to the Let's Master English podcast. Are you an English learner at the B1 or intermediate level? Perhaps you know a lot of grammar and vocabulary, but when you try to speak, you feel stuck and the words come out slowly. It can be incredibly frustrating. If this sounds like you, then this episode is your guide. And let the language become a part of your life. Let's begin this adventure together.
The Power of Reading in English Learning. My story and your guide. Hello there. I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, I was learning English, just like you. I was at the B1 level, the intermediate level. It's a strange place to be, isn't it? You know quite a lot of grammar. You have a good number of words in your vocabulary. You can understand your teacher, and you can pass your exams. But when you try to speak, you feel stuck. The words are slow to come out. You translate in your head. You worry about making mistakes. It can feel really frustrating. I felt that frustration every single day. I wanted to be fluent. I wanted to think in English and speak without stopping and starting. I tried everything. I watched movies, I listened to music, I used language apps, and I studied my grammar books again and again. These things helped a little, but something was missing. I was not making real progress. Then, one day, I discovered a secret. It wasn't a new, expensive technology. It wasn't a magic trick. It was simple, quiet, and powerful. It was reading. I know what you might be thinking. Reading? But that's slow. I want to speak. I thought that too, but I promise you, starting a regular reading habit was the single most important thing I did to go from an intermediate learner to a confident English speaker. It changed everything for me. In this article, I want to share my journey with you. I want to show you why reading is so powerful and give you a simple, step-by-step guide on how to start. We will look at examples of learners from all over the world, and I will give you my best tips and tricks. This is not about difficult, boring study. This is about finding joy in English and letting the language become a part of your life. So, are you ready? Let's begin this adventure together. When I first started to read regularly in English, it felt like magic. Slowly, day by day, my English started to change. Speaking became easier. Writing felt more natural. I understood conversations more clearly. It wasn't magic, of course. There are real, clear reasons why reading works so well. Let me explain the 4 big reasons. 1. You learn vocabulary naturally. Think about how you learn new words now. Maybe you use flashcards or write lists. You have the word on one side and the translation on the other. This is okay, but it has a big problem. A word is more than just a translation. When you read, you don't just see a word, you see a word in its home. You see it in a sentence, in a story, in a situation. This is called context, and it is your best friend for learning vocabulary. For example, let's look at the word exhausted. From a list, exhausted equals very tired. From a book, after walking for 10 hours through the mountains, the hiker was completely exhausted. He fell onto his bed and immediately went to sleep. Can you feel the difference? In the sentence, you don't just learn the meaning of exhausted. You feel it. You understand how tired the hiker was. You learn that completely is often used with exhausted. You see a natural example of how to use the word. Your brain remembers the story and the feeling, not just the word. When you read, this happens hundreds of times. You see the same words again and again in different situations. You don't have to try to memorize them. Your brain does the work for you. It learns the words deeply and naturally. 2. You understand grammar without studying. This was the most surprising benefit for me. I used to spend hours studying grammar rules, present perfect, past perfect, conditionals. It was so confusing. But when you read a lot, something amazing happens. Your brain is a pattern machine. It loves to find patterns in the world, and language is full of patterns. Grammar is just the name for these patterns. When you read a sentence like, "She has lived in London for 3 years," your brain sees the pattern. When you see it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times in different books and articles, your brain learns that this pattern is correct. It starts to feel normal and natural. You stop thinking about the rule, like present perfect is for an action that started in the past and continues to the present. Instead, you start to feel what is correct. When you speak or write, you will naturally say, "She has lived in London," because the other options will just sound wrong to you. Reading shows you grammar in action. It teaches your brain the correct patterns of English so that you can use them automatically without thinking about the rules. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't think about the rules of balance. You just do it because your body has learned the feeling. Reading gives your brain that feeling for grammar. 3. It helps your speaking and writing. This sounds strange to many people. How can a quiet activity like reading help a productive activity like speaking? It's because of a simple idea. What goes in must come out. Language learning has 2 parts, input and output. Input is listening and reading, taking English in. Output is speaking and writing, producing English out. To have good output, you need a lot of good input. Reading is the best quality input you can get. When you read books, you are filling your brain with well-structured sentences, interesting vocabulary, and great ideas. When it's time for you to speak or write, your brain has a huge library of language to use. You won't have to translate from your native language because you will already have English sentences and phrases in your mind. You will start to use phrases you read in books without even realizing it. Your speaking will become richer and more natural. Also, reading gives you things to talk about. You can share the plot of a story you are reading or an interesting fact you learned from an article. It makes you a more interesting person to talk to. 4. It's fun and you are in control. This is maybe the most important reason of all. To learn a language, you need to be consistent. You need to do it a little bit every day. And it's much easier to be consistent when you are doing something you enjoy. With reading, you are in control. You don't have to read boring textbooks. You can choose to read about anything you love. Do you love sports? Read sports news websites. Do you love cooking? Read food blogs and recipes. Do you love fantasy and magic? Read fantasy novels. Do you love technology? Read tech websites. When you read about a topic you are passionate about, it doesn't feel like studying. It feels like fun. And when you are having fun, you will want to do it every day. This consistency is the real secret to success in language learning.
Part 2. How to Start Reading, Your Step-by-Step Guide. Okay, I hope you are convinced that reading is a superpower for English learners. But where do you start? It can feel scary to open a book in another language. Don't worry, I have a simple 4-step guide to help you begin. Step 1. Find your level. Don't be a hero. This is the most important first step. Many learners make a big mistake here. They are excited, so they go and buy a famous, difficult novel like Moby Dick or a book by Shakespeare. They open the first page and see 20 words they don't know. They feel stupid, they get frustrated, and they quit. Please don't do this. The goal is to build confidence and enjoy the process. You need to start with something easy. How do you find an easy book? Use graded readers. These are your best friends. Graded readers are books that are specially written for English learners. The vocabulary and grammar are controlled for each level: A1, A2, B1, B2, etc. They are often simplified versions of famous stories or original stories written for learners. Publishers like Oxford University Press, Penguin Readers, and Cambridge have amazing selections of B1 graded readers. You can find romance, thrillers, science fiction, every genre you can imagine. The 5-finger rule. This is a simple test to check if a book is right for you. 1. Open any page in the book. 2. Read the page. Every time you find a word you don't know, put 1 finger up. If you have 5 or more fingers up by the end of the page, the book is probably too difficult for you right now. Put it back and find an easier one. Starting easy is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence. You are building a strong foundation. When you read an easy book, you can read faster, you understand more, and you enjoy the story. This enjoyment is the motivation that will keep you going. Step 2. Choose your adventure. Find what you love. Now for the fun part. You need to find reading material that is interesting to you. Remember, your personal interests are the fuel for your language learning journey. Here is a list of ideas for a B1 learner. Graded readers. As I said, this is the best place to start. Go online or to a bookstore and look for B1 graded readers. You will find hundreds of exciting titles. Children's books. Don't be afraid to read books for children or young adults. They often use simpler language but tell wonderful stories. Books by authors like Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory can be great, or even the first Harry Potter book if you feel confident. Comics and graphic novels. These are fantastic for language learners. The pictures help you understand the story, so you don't have to rely only on the words. Blogs about your hobbies. What do you love to do? Cooking, gardening, playing video games, travel, fashion. I promise you, there are thousands of blogs in English about your hobby. Use Google to search for best travel blogs or simple English cooking recipes. News for learners. Regular news can be difficult, but there are special websites with news written in simpler English. Check out BBC Learning English and VOA Learning English. They have interesting articles about current events that are perfect for your level. Song lyrics. Do you have a favorite English-speaking singer or band? Find the lyrics to their songs online and read along as you listen. It's a fun way to learn new vocabulary and phrases. The most important thing is to choose something you are genuinely curious about. Don't force yourself to read about economics if you find it boring. Step 3. The big question. Should I use a dictionary? Every learner asks this question. When you are reading and you see a word you don't know, it's very tempting to stop and immediately look it up in your dictionary or on your phone. My advice is, try to wait. Stopping for every new word breaks the flow of your reading. It pulls you out of the story. It makes reading slow and frustrating. The goal is to enjoy the story and understand the general meaning, not to know every single word. So, what should you do instead? 1. Guess from context first. When you see a new word, read the whole sentence. Read the sentence before it and after it. Look at the situation. Can you make a good guess about what the word means? For example, the man was so famished, he ate 3 whole pizzas by himself. You might not know famished, but you can guess it means very hungry from the context. This is a powerful skill. The more you practice it, the better you get. 2. The highlight and look later method. This was my favorite technique. When I was reading, I kept a highlighter pen with me. If I saw a new word that seemed important, I highlighted it, but I did not stop reading. I continued to the end of the chapter or for my planned 10 to 15 minutes. After I finished reading, I went back and looked up the meanings of the words I had highlighted. This way, I could enjoy the story without interruption, but I still learned the new words. Of course, if there is a word that you see many times and you feel that you cannot understand the story without it, then it is okay to look it up. The rule is, don't let the dictionary control your reading experience. You are the boss. Step 4. Create a reading habit. The best results come from consistency. Reading for 10 minutes every day is much better than reading for 2 hours on a Sunday and then nothing for the rest of the week. How do you build a habit? Start small, really small. Your first goal could be to read for just 5 minutes every day. Anyone can find 5 minutes. It's so easy that you can't say no. After a week, maybe you can try for 10 minutes. The key is to make it feel easy and achievable. Connect it to an existing habit. This is a famous trick for building new habits. Connect your new reading habit to something you already do every day. For example, I will read my English book for 10 minutes while I drink my morning coffee. I will read an English blog post after I brush my teeth at night. Or, I will read on my phone for my 15-minute bus ride to work. The goal is to make reading a normal and easy part of your daily life, like making coffee or checking your email.
Part 3. Stories from around the world. Inspiration for you. I am not the only person who discovered the power of reading. All around the world, learners have used their passions to help them learn English through books and articles. Let me share a few of their stories. Maria from Brazil. Maria's biggest passion is cooking. She wanted to learn new techniques. She was a B1 student, and she started reading simple food blogs in English. At first, it was slow. She learned words like chop, sauté, whisk, and simmer. Soon, she was reading recipes for her favorite cakes and dishes. A year later, Maria can now watch famous chefs like Gordon Ramsay on YouTube without subtitles. She has even started her own Instagram page where she shares her food pictures and writes the descriptions in English. Reading about her passion opened up a new world for her. Kenji from Japan. Kenji loves video games. He wanted to understand the stories in his favorite games and talk to other players online. He started reading websites that review new games. Then he joined online forums like Reddit, where players from all over the world discuss strategies. He learned a lot of informal language and slang. Now, Kenji is part of an international gaming team. He communicates with his teammates from the USA, Sweden, and South Korea, all in English. His hobby became his English classroom. Fatima from Egypt. Fatima is a history student. She loves learning about the ancient world. Her teacher recommended she try a graded reader about Cleopatra. She loved it. She could learn about a topic she was passionate about while improving her English. After that, she read graded readers about ancient Rome, Greece, and Persia. Now, she is starting to read simple history books written for English-speaking teenagers. Reading didn't just improve her English, it helped her with her university studies too. Lucas from Germany. Lucas is a huge football fan. His favorite team is Liverpool in the English Premier League. To get the latest news about his team, he started reading sports websites like BBC Sport and ESPN. He learned all the important vocabulary: penalty, free kick, offside, defender. Reading the news every day made him feel connected to his team. Now he can listen to English commentators during a match and understand everything. He even calls his friends from England to discuss the game, all in confident English. What do all these stories have in common? Maria, Kenji, Fatima, and Lucas connected English to something they already loved. They didn't see reading as a chore. They saw it as a door to a world they wanted to enter. Your passion, whatever it is, can be that door for you too. Part 4. Your Reading Toolkit. More tips and tricks. As you continue on your reading journey, here are a few more tips and tricks I learned that can help you. Tip 1. Reread your favorites. Is there a book that you love in your native language? A book you have read many times? Try reading it in English. Because you already know the story and the characters, you don't have to worry about understanding the plot. You can relax and focus on the language. It's a very comfortable way to start reading full-length books. Tip 2. Listen and read at the same time. This is a fantastic technique for improving your listening and pronunciation. Get the audiobook and the ebook for the same title. Play the audiobook and follow along with your eyes in the text. This connects the sound of the words to their spelling. It helps you hear the rhythm and music of English sentences. Tip 3. Keep a simple vocabulary journal. When you use the highlight and look later method, don't just write the new word and its translation in a notebook. That's not very helpful. Instead, write the full sentence from the book where you found the word. For example, instead of writing exhausted equals very tired, write after walking for 10 hours, the hiker was completely exhausted. Writing the full sentence gives you the context and a perfect example of how to use the word. Tip 4. Don't worry about speed. This is not a race. It doesn't matter if your friend can read a chapter in 1 hour and it takes you 3 hours. The goal is to understand and enjoy. Read at your own pace. It is better to read one page slowly and understand it well than to read 20 pages quickly and understand nothing. Tip 5. Talk about what you read. This is how you can turn your passive reading knowledge into active speaking skills. When you finish a chapter or an interesting article, tell someone about it in English. You can tell your teacher, a language partner, or even just talk to yourself in the mirror. For example, I am reading a very exciting book. It's about a detective in London. In this chapter, she found a mysterious letter. This simple act of summarizing helps you practice your new vocabulary and solidifies what you have learned. Tip 6. Celebrate your victories. Did you finish your first graded reader? Did you read a full chapter without using a dictionary? Did you understand a news article? Celebrate these moments. Learning a language is a long journey, and it's important to be proud of your progress. Finishing your first book in English, no matter how short or easy, is a huge achievement. You are doing something amazing. Conclusion. Your adventure is waiting. So that is the secret I discovered. Reading is not just another task on your study list. It is the most natural, enjoyable, and powerful way to immerse yourself in the English language. It will build your vocabulary, fix your grammar, and give you the confidence you need to speak. It will feed your brain with the language it needs to become fluent. Remember the most important lessons. Start easy and find your level. Confidence is key. Choose topics that you love. Your passion is your fuel. Create a small, daily habit. Consistency is more important than intensity. Enjoy the journey. Don't worry about being perfect. I started just like you, a B1 learner feeling stuck and frustrated. Reading opened the door for me to a new level of English and a new world of stories and information. It can do the same for you. Your adventure is waiting inside the pages of a book or on the screen of a website. So, let me ask you, what will you read today?
That's all the time we have for today. I really hope you enjoyed my analysis of this fantastic article. It's a powerful reminder that learning English can be a fun and personal adventure. I truly believe that if you start a reading habit and choose topics you love, you'll see a huge change in your confidence and your ability to speak. Before we go, I want to ask you one question. What is one thing you will read this week? A blog, a news article, or maybe a chapter of a book? Tell me about your reading journey, and maybe your story will inspire others on a future episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time on the Let's Master English podcast.